Hi everyone, and welcome to Gem Advertising's first 2018 webinar. Today's topic is on brand positioning. Look, really, I can't stress the importance of positioning your brand, and solid positioning creates that emotional connection to the consumer. And it's really the pillar in terms of moving forward with your marketing and advertising. If you don't spend the time positioning your brand correctly, what you'll find is a lot of your activity will be wasteful and not working towards a strategic direction. So you really need to dig deep to start the process. To say that we are different because we have different service people, it's not enough, and it's not enough that your competitor won't say the same thing as well. Everybody wants to believe that they're doing the right thing by their service and that they have the best people working for them. And unless you're working into specialization of those particular people, which I'll talk about later, it's not enough to say we have the best team, the best people. So we really need to find some different attributes that can work as a differentiator in your market. So what I'd like to do is start with the first basic principles of marketing and your brand, how your brand positions. So there's really 5 types of brand personalities that exist out there. The first one is sincerity. So a sincere brand is one that's down to earth, it's honest, it's wholesome, it's cheerful, and that's, if you can think about a brand out there in the market, it's someone like a Dove. The next one is exciting. An exciting brand. They're daring, they're spirited, they're imaginative, they're up to date, and that would be someone like an Apple. The next one is competence, and that's somebody who is a reliable brand, intelligent, successful. So that's someone, like a PricewaterhouseCoopers, for example. Next, we've got sophisticated. So sophisticated is that upper class, that charming, that elite brand, and that's obviously something like a luxury car, Mercedes-Benz. Lastly, it's ruggedness. So that's outdoorsy. It's a tough brand, and that to me would be someone like a Kathmandu. So if you think about those 5 brand personalities, and that's somewhere that you can start to think about how you would position in one of those 5. Really, when you think about your positioning, it's driving the brand to meet the consumer's needs, but actually doing it with what you do internally and what you deliver onto that client. So what I recommend is you start by doing a simple exercise, and it's looking at 4 key points, and it's starting with your target customer. So look at the primary audience to who your brand is designed to appeal. Now, we can look at a lot of different options, and I've done a separate blog about how to target people and look at your market, and you're welcome to read that on jamadvertising.com.au. But when you do look at that target market, look at 2 different types of groups that exist within that. One is where there's a group of people that already are aware that they need you. And the second is a group of people who aren't aware that they need you yet. And that can be a really lucrative market. So if we think about that first market, for example, that group of people are already ready to buy. However, it's going to be a highly competitive space because everybody's going to be after that group. And as a result, you might come in a little bit later in the buying process, particularly if you're not already positioned within the market against those competitors that are already well established. So what that means is you might lose out a lot to your competitors. If you look at that second area, and that second group of people that might be looking at your brand, well, they're the people that don't know they need you, or they don't know that their problem exists yet. And if you can look at that group of people and think of how you might specialize towards them and offer them something that your competitors won't do, then that's going to be a much more lucrative market for you to go after. Not only because they will value the service once they realize that that's what they need, it's less competitive, but also because you're going to deliver exactly on what their needs are because you've sought them out. So have a think about that when you're looking at your target customers. A second is the brand essence. So that's really the heart and soul of your brand. So don't go out and say that you're an exciting brand if actually you are sitting more in that sincere, calm space. So that links back to those personality types that I spoke about in the beginning, and making sure that you're set on one of those. Now, you can't flip between those, and it's not strategic and it's not going to do you any favors. You need to stick on one and really push forward with that personality type in your strategic planning. Then look at your brand promise. So that's a promise of relevant differentiating benefits. So what is it that you do? What do you promise your consumers that's different, and how do you deliver on that? And lastly, the brand personality. So these are really the adjectives that describe the brand as if it were a person. So think about that in terms of your positioning. Then I want you to look at how you do specialize. So linking back to what I spoke about with that target customer, how do you specialize in your market? It's always quite intimidating to look at how you look at a specialization and realize that you won't be talking to your entire market. But once you realize that, and once you realize that there's no point in competing, you will never be everything to everybody, and you'll only grab a small percentage of that wide market. Start to hone in on that specialization and that specialized market and go after those people, and offer yourself and offer your services forward that way in a very specialized, targeted approach. And once you have established your positioning and your specialization, then you can go after that second market that I spoke to you, that is that more lucrative market. They value your service. You can pitch directly to them. You can talk to them in the language that they'll need to make sure that they understand that they need your services and why they need your services. What I really think you need to do is be brutally honest with your business, brutally honest in your competitive landscape, and see if you can take a bit of a helicopter approach to really understand where your competitors are sitting. Are they differentiating themselves? And if they're not, then where can you make the most of that? What the drivers are of your market, and where you can really push your message out to support your positioning. The importance of positioning, it's the driver of your brand. All of your communication pieces need to feed down into that positioning and make sure that everything that is coming out from your brand is living and breathing that strategic positioning place. If you don't, as I said, it will be quite wasteful in the way that you approach your marketing. It'll be a scattergun approach. It won't be targeted to the group of people that you really want to push forward with. But if you do position right, you link into that strategic positioning, you know that it's true to your brand. It's true to your customer and what they need from you. Then you just push forward, and over time you will see that strategic positioning will become stronger and stronger. You'll achieve that cut through in your market, and you will rise above your competitors. And overall, it'll be a much more successful approach to your marketing. So as usual, I don't want to talk too long in these webinars, give you some short, sharp tips, and I'm happy to drill down further if anyone would like to contact me. So Marissa Marshke, Gem Advertising, which is www.gemadvertising.com.au, or on email gem@gemadvertising.com.au. I wish you all the best with the positioning of your brand.